Hello, hello, hello. How are you? Hopefully, you can see me okay. Let me get my music back up here. Um, we ran a little bit over on Instagram because of technical issues, as always seems to happen. Let me change my lighting around. All right. How is everybody? Talk back to me. Talk back to me. Hopefully, this is together. Make sure to like the live um, and share it with as many people as you think can benefit from it. I hope that light back there isn't weird. Hi. I'm good. I'm good. I'm sorry. There's a little bit of delay, a 60-second delay. Awesome. Hi. Listen, the way that for some reason my Wi-Fi was like kind of going in and out. So like I had to like turn all of my Wi-Fi off and reset. It was a thing. Okay. And it happens every Monday. And I know that the enemy be on his prowl. And I feel like it happens every week. Okay. But thank you so much for waiting for me. Kiki, good to see you. And Noir Diaries, thank you for joining. I hope that I said your name right. But yeah, welcome. We're going to be talking about pushing past our fears tonight. And I have about 8 affirmations. Hello, Hiro. Thank you for joining. We're going to be talking about pushing past our fears. Because we went a little bit over on Instagram. I did invite them to come over to YouTube to finish the conversation. So if anybody's like ahead and putting in affirmations before we get them, that's probably why. But thank you guys. Wi-Fi is acting childish. Yeah, I don't know listen, I don't know what's been going on. And Xfinity has replaced my router. I want to say 3 times. They replaced like my wiring like 2 to 3 times. Like it's been crazy. And I don't know if it's because I do so many virtual calls and virtual things that I see it and it just is more annoying. But it's been a thing. But yeah, so I want to dive into our affirmations tonight. As I say all the time, like a lot of times with the affirmations that I come up with every week is because of things that I'm going through. And I think that right now I'm currently in a really big transition. And when it comes to the transitioning, fear creeps up often. Okay. And so with this month being, and just to kind of give you guys some insight, I primarily worked during the day in technical recruiting, right? So I worked at some very large, prestigious tech companies and recruiting like software engineers and doing a whole bunch of tech stuff. The tech industry has sucked this year. Like every big tech company has had a layoff. I was a part of layoffs. It was like a mass layoff where they laid off thousands of people. And that happened at the top of the year. And ever since then, I've either been working contracts full time or part time, in addition to me like running like businesses and things. So I just recently got an offer to start a new role about a week ago, and maybe a week and a half ago. And then they had another restructuring. So then they rescinded the offer. It's been it's been a thing. It's been a whole thing. So I'm in the middle of transitioning, of really like revisiting my career, what I'm going to, am I going to continue in tech recruiting? If I'm going to go into other avenues, am I going to go back to school? That's kind of like where I'm at right now and figuring that out towards the end of the year. So I said all of that to say is that because of that, I have a lot of fears, a lot of uncertainties, a lot of things that are popping up for me. And when those things happen, and I was certain areas of my life, whether it be anxiety or depression or sadness or whatever that I'm dealing with, I always pull new affirmations, either revisit old ones or pull new affirmations. So that way I can encourage myself. That way I can keep myself in the most positive state of mind. So that's where these affirmations come from. So some of these are pulled from ones that I had before, and then some of them are new ones. So I have 8 affirmations. The first one I'm going to start with is I release fear and I embrace the power within me. I release fear. Let me shut off my text messages are going to keep going off. I release fear and I embrace the power within me. See, there they go. I'm gonna shut them down. Um, so the reason why I have this one is because sometimes we have to make space for us to be able to tap into our power. A lot of times fear takes over because of the fact that that's where we're spending the most of our energy. We're spending most of our energy into replaying the fear, thinking about the fear, complaining, um, and finding ways to just feed the fear versus putting our energy and putting our attention into the power that we have so that we can move past that fear. So putting our attention in how we can make things better, how we can find solutions, how we can, tapping into our creativity, tapping into our courage, tapping into our resources. Instead of us putting all of the energy into those areas, we put the energy into the fear. Kiki says, "Yeah, girl, I'm in a transformation space myself, and oh my god, I'm going to tech mixer this week." Yes, yes, tech is crazy right now. And I pat myself on the back. I was a pretty good recruiter, so I was a senior level recruiter, so at a very large company. So it's not as if it's not like I don't have the skill. It's just everybody from Google, everyone from Microsoft, everyone from all of these large companies are all in the market at the same time, and recruiting is first to go with any company. So when you have a layoff with any company, tech or not, recruiting is going to be the first to go. So everybody's a high level, senior level recruiter that has tech recruiting experience is 5 years at a senior level. Everybody has that right now. So you're competing with the best. So I'm shortlisted with a lot of large companies, but they don't have the opportunities right now. Pauses and delays is where we're most tested. Prayers, yes, I'm right with you dealing with things. Thank you for showing up here and delivering. Yes, absolutely. Recruiting and marketing, yeah, recruiting, marketing, sales, like all of that stuff is going to go first. So me being in recruiting, it's been tough with the second contract that I had. I was supposed to convert, but the 6 month contract, during those 6 months they had 2 layoffs and a restructuring in those 6 months. So they wanted to convert me, they just couldn't. They didn't have the money to. So yeah, absolutely. But I know that God has it worked out. He has it fixed already. I am working part time with a non for profit, just offering my time, and it's been fun. And I just do that in addition to finding work. And it's exciting. It's kind of a break. It's something else to do. But of course, you have your livelihood that you're worried about. You're trying to figure that out, especially during this economic climate with inflation and everything just running rampant. Like, it is kind of scary, but I think it also is exciting to see like what is next for me. Um, Yep, God has a plan for me, even if I can't see it yet. Yes, that absolutely, absolutely. A lot of times you're not going to see it. You can feel it, but you're not going to see it, and that's where the fear comes from. Leading me to the next affirmation: I confront my fears with courage and determination. I confront my fears with courage and determination. And that's more so of just understanding that we shouldn't allow our fears to drive us. We should confront them. Just because the fear is present doesn't mean that you can't act upon it. Doesn't mean that you can't push back. Doesn't mean that you have to take it. That's like getting in the corner in a boxing rink and just allowing the opponent to punch you. And they just punch and they just pound and they like doing all this on top of your head and all, and you just sitting there like that. That's the visual that we have when it comes to dealing with fear and dealing with emotional fear. Laughing at me. Dealing with the emotional fear, we just cuddle up in a ball in a corner, and fear is just pounding, pounding, pounding. Like, fight back, think of solutions, think of ways to get out of it, educate yourself, find ways to be creative and operate in wisdom and be proactive, instead of reactive. A lot of times our fears come because we're acting more reactive versus proactive. And the more proactive you are, the it lessens the fears to the point where you're more confident. Um, so when it comes to that, it's just making sure to confront your fears, making sure that even though the fear is present, the what was the is feel the fear but do it anyway type of thing, when it comes to a quote. So I confront my fears with courage and determination. Next one: fear is only a feeling, courage is a decision. Yes, fight back. Yeah, on top of your head. If somebody hits you on the top of your head, you gonna fight back. You know what I'm saying? Like, if somebody does one of these, no, you're going to fight back. You're not going to let that happen. So when it comes to our emotions, and it's not just fear, just our emotions in general, sadness, depression, anger, it just be beating us up every day. Like, stop taking the fight, stop taking the hits. Awesome. Do I got jokes today? I know I got a little joke. I'm a little jokey jokes today. So yes, fear is only a feeling. Courage is a decision. When it comes to fear, and I think I've said this before, when it comes to fear and excitement, it activates the same part of our body. So when we have fear or when we're excited, it activates the same part of our nervous system. So when it comes to our parasympathetic and our sympathetic nervous system, our sympathetic nervous system is what is like fight or flight. It's what happens when you get excited, when you get fearful. It's what tells your body to react. And since the sympathetic nervous system is activated, whether we're fearful or excited, how else does our body know which is which? Is it fear or is it excitement, other than what our minds tell it? So if we can train ourselves to, anytime that we feel that feeling, tell our bodies, hey, this is me being excited. This is me, getting ready for what's to come versus it being fearful of what's to come. The more we can train our bodies and train our minds to tell it what it is, instead of vice versa, instead of our bodies telling us what's going on, that makes all the difference. So fear is only a feeling. Courage is a decision. You have to make a decision to push past it. It has to be a conscious effort to push past the fear. Otherwise, it's going to beat us up every time. Just like I was saying, it's going to keep beating us up until we actually make a decision to push past it. Next one: delusional optimism. I love that. Yes, fear is only a feeling. Courage is a decision. Absolutely. Same with discipline. Discipline is a decision. And a lot of times we say, oh, I'm out of control, or I don't have self-control. No, you don't have self-control because you're deciding not to have self-control. We have to choose. It's a decision. We have to decide. It's not a gift to have self-control. It's not necessarily something that is just gifted to us. It's a skill set that we build and we exercise. So it's the same with self-control, just as much as fear. Next one: with each step, my fear diminishes and my confidence grows. With each step, my fear diminishes, and my confidence grows. So, understanding that sometimes when it's what it takes to push past the fear is just taking baby steps, finding ways to do something within that goal that pushes you towards that goal, but isn't as intimidating. Like, for instance, the biggest one that you can do when it comes to any type of goal or any type of uncertainty or any type of fear is planning. So, writing out your plan, that's one baby step that you can take to start pushing past the fear. Then, when you work through your plan, um, or write out your plan, finding parts of that plan that you can do that isn't as intimidating or fearful. A lot of times that's research, educating yourself, getting more knowledge in the area, finding resources and people that know more about it, watching videos or watching podcasts or whatever on the topic to try to build your knowledge base. And I feel like, just in general, with whatever you're working through, having a solid knowledge base builds confidence, right? If you know more about a particular area, the more prone you'll be to actually do something about it or to take action. So understanding that the baby steps are important, just as important as the actual goal, because the baby steps is what gets you started and what gets you going. And then once you take one step, you're like, oh, okay, this makes more sense, or oh, I understand this a little bit more, so maybe I'll do this. Or, hey, like, now that I know about the actual program, one thing that I'm thinking about is going back to school. Now that I've actually talked to an advisor to get more information, or now that I actually understand and know what classes I'm actually going to take, this doesn't seem too bad. Maybe I can do a class here or a class there. So the more you get more knowledge, the more you educate yourself, the more you plan, the more confident you become in the actual fear that you're experiencing. And it doesn't even have to be an actual goal. It could just be a part of life that is intimidating, or a part of life that you have trauma, right? So if you are afraid or fearful to go into a romantic relationship, taking the steps to heal from your past relationships is moving you towards finding the love that you want in your life. Or if you have trouble with finances, and it's just something that's always plagued you because of your past trauma, whether it be you grew up poor, or you grew up in a not so solid situation, or you grew up rich and your parents did everything for you and you don't really understand how to do it yourself. It could be so many different ways, but taking the time to educate yourself in those areas, and to get more resources, and to find ways that will create, that you can do something you can do creatively to help you learn and move past it and get through it, is a way to take baby steps. Because I think a lot of times when we think of baby steps, we're thinking of an actual physical goal, like something like, oh, I want to be in this career, or I want to do that. A lot of times it's just everyday stuff. Hey, I'm fearful of putting myself on a budget. Like, I want to be able to flourish, and I want to just be able to buy whatever I want, and I want to shop, and I want to go to Target every day. Like, and you're afraid to push past that and put yourself on a budget and to give yourself an allowance and all of that other stuff. Doing things in baby steps will help you push past all of that. So I hope this is resonating. I hope this helps. This is kind of how, I pushed myself past fear. And sometimes even thinking outside of the box and thinking of the possibilities versus the uncertainties too. A lot of times we focus too much on what's uncertain, and don't put any energy into what's actually possible, you know? So think about the possibilities and journal the possibilities versus thinking about the uncertainties or what could go wrong. So yeah, those are all the tips that I have there, but I hope that was helpful. That affirmation was, with each step, my fear diminishes and my confidence grows. Next one, I replace fear with love and I move forward with strength. I replace fear with love and I move forward with strength. So it goes back to that first affirmation of, I release the fear. We have to shift our energy. We have to replace fear with something else, replacing fear with love, with peace, with contentment, with joy, with with happiness. You can replace it with so many other things and put your energy and focus into that versus into the fear. And once you put your focus into those things, then that's when you're able to move forward in strength. That's when you're able to move past the fear. But until you do that, you're going to be stuck in that fear boxing ring that we talked about earlier, where it's just you just in round 25 and it's just going to town and it just keeps going. You got to let them ring that bell and tap out at a certain point. Um, so that was I replaced fear with love and I move forward with strength. The next one, my potential is greater than my fear, any fear I may feel. My potential is greater than any fear I may feel. And a lot of times when we think about just relationships in general, we talk about, oh, you can't, trust on someone else's potential, right? That may be work, that may be for other people, but when it comes to ourselves, the more we invest in our potential, the better off we'll be as far as moving past any type of fear. So if we understand that our potential, our capabilities, our abilities, what we're great at, our creativity is stronger than what our fear is. And if we're, again, able to tap into those things, it will be easier to push past any type of fear, imposter syndrome, because imposter syndrome is just another form of fear. We'll be able to push past all of that if we're able to tap into our capabilities and our potential, and really truly getting an understanding of what our potential is, what our strengths are, what our weaknesses are, and shifting our weakness and finding ways that those weaknesses are strengths um, is what will help us moving past our fear. So that was it. My potential is greater than any fear I may feel. So understand your potential. If you don't understand your potential, take the time to journal it. A lot of times we don't even take into consideration what our gifts are, what we're good at, what our strengths are. If you don't know where to start, ask somebody that you trust. Ask a teacher if you're like in school right now, or ask your manager or a coworker or someone that you trust that will give you an honest answer. Ask your family member, friends, someone that you trust that will give you the honest answer of what your strengths are, because a lot of times people see things in us that we don't see until they point it out. So if you're stuck on what your strengths are, what your gifts are, tap into your resources and the people around you and ask them, like, hey, like, I'm really trying to, like, build myself up and figure out like what I want to do and how I can push past my fears. Is there any strengths that you see in me that can you list some out for me? And you'll be amazed at what people say. People tell me stuff all the time, like, you are really good at this. And I'm like, I didn't even realize that, but thank you. So just really think through it. Think about what your strengths are. But if you can't even think of that, allow other people to build you up. If you need that additional support, ask for it. And don't be afraid to ask for it. Awesome. That was my potential is greater than any fear I may feel. Next one, I release the need for perfection and embrace new opportunities. I release the need for perfection and embrace new opportunities. So sometimes when it comes to fear, a lot of times it's not fear as we know it. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm so scared. It's not that. Usually it's because it's not perfect. So if a situation isn't perfect, or if it's not the way that we envisioned it, it stops us completely or altogether from moving forward or passing through that fear. So again, imposter syndrome is a big one for this, because a lot of times we'll see like, oh, like I know that I can do this, but this one little part isn't perfect, so now I'm doubting myself. Um so and or it's because we don't have complete control over a situation. So if we don't have complete control over a situation, then we just don't do anything because of the fact that we or lack control. But sometimes you have to push past that, because we can't control everything. We're not going to have control over everything. Going internally is also a part of that process, and what feelings, characteristics you had in your most successful or happiest moments. Yep, that's also a very good way of understanding that. I think sometimes people get into a confused state of mind when going through those types of going through that thought process, where they need the outside people on the outside to kind of like let you know, like, yeah, you are good at this, or this is something. So sometimes it's great to go internally, but sometimes people go internally and have nothing and can pull nothing. I don't know how many times I've been in sessions where people, I'll ask them what they think their strengths are, and they can't pull anything out. They can't think of anything. So sometimes leaning on people externally to kind of help build them up to where they have the confidence even to go internally to have that conversation with themselves, if that makes sense. Yep, that will tell you what your strengths are. Yep, absolutely. Yep. So however you feel like you it's going to be the best thing for you as far as figuring it out, but you have to tap into it, because knowing your strengths will help you move past fears. If you don't know what your strengths are, if you don't know the direction that you're going, if you don't know what your wants and what your needs are, it will be hard to justify yourself pushing past a fear. Yep, absolutely. Where were we at? I release the need for perfection and embrace new opportunities. Yes. So just understanding that a lot of times our fears are just because of something not looking perfect, or when it comes to our goal, it didn't look how we planned, so then therefore it's a lost cause. Whereas a lot of times when it comes to going for a goal or even trusting the process, it's not necessarily changing the goal, it's just changing how you get there. And sometimes when you have to pivot, or when you have to change how you're getting a certain place, we allow that to derail us instead of just either slowing us down or going in a different direction. So not being afraid of imperfections and not being afraid of uncertainties, and training our mind to not be afraid of those things, but to embrace them as new opportunities and new areas for growth. Sometimes we're afraid of failure. So if we see it being uncertain, then it's like, okay, this has a higher probability of failing, but we also learn from failures too. So once you embrace the fact that I'm going to learn from success and I'm going to learn from failures, that will stop you from stopping. You know what I mean? Because it's like, okay, if I fail, that's fine. At least I'll learn and I'll know how to do it the next time, versus if I fail, it's the end of the world, you know? So I release the need for perfection and embrace new opportunities. And last but not least, I am worthy of success and fear has no power over me. I am worthy of success and fear has no power over me. Sometimes we can't push past fear because we don't feel like we're worth it. We don't feel like we're worth the success. We don't feel like we're worth whatever that thing is. And when our self-worth is low, it's hard to push past the fear, because in order to push past the fear, you have to have confidence. You have to, push past self-doubt. You have to, push past all of those things. And if you feel worthless, or if you feel like you're not even worthy of the success or worthy of the things that you're aspiring for, then it's going to be hard for you to push past the fear. So this one is just to remind us that we are worthy. We are worth, the success. We're worth the power. God put us here for a reason, for a purpose, and in that alone makes us worthy. So understanding that and having confidence in that, and having power and strength and resilience and perseverance in that, is what's going to be able to help you push past or move past fears that make you feel unworthy. Especially when you're having trauma attached to it. So if you have childhood trauma or any type of traumas attached to your worth, making sure to revisit those within therapy, within a therapist, and really understanding why you're feeling the way that you're feeling. Sometimes it takes some healing in order for you to push past fears like this. The more that we heal emotionally, physically, and spiritually, the easier it will be for us to trust ourselves and to trust God and to move past any type of fear that we're experiencing. Um, and I say that to myself just as much as I say it to you guys. Like I said, everything that I talk about when in these lives are typically things that I'm going through currently or have gone through and have some type of experience in. Um, so I hope that that was helpful. Is anybody, and feel free to share if anybody is trying to push past something, trying to reach a goal, definitely drop it in the comments. I definitely want to know how, if this is helpful. Make sure to, oh no, an ad popped up. No, I hope you guys just heard all of that. Did you guys hear that? Okay, perfect. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I hope it's helpful. Feel free to share if you are pushing past any type of fears. But I really, want everyone to, take heed to everything that was talked about tonight. If there's any affirmations that you want to add, of course, you can always add them into the comments after I post the live. But I must go back to the top just to read through them, just so that way you guys have them, and if in case anybody missed anything. The first one was, I release fear and I embrace the power within me. Number 2, I confront my fears with courage and determination. Number 3, fear is only a feeling. Courage is my decision. Number 4, with each step, my fear diminishes and my confidence grows. Number 5, I replace fear with love and I move forward with strength. Sorry, there's a noise there. Number 6, my potential is greater than any fear I may feel. Number 7, I release the need for perfection and embrace new opportunities. And last one, number 8, I am worthy of success and fear has no power over me. So yeah, definitely feel free to change the language around. I hope that you guys enjoyed the most recent meditation on, it was just a morning energizing meditation that I posted this morning. So I hope that that was helpful today. Yeah, if you guys need anything, have any questions, definitely let me know in the comments. Otherwise, I will see you all next week for affirmations. I will be on vacation, like a short vacation this weekend, to visit my sister for her birthday. So I should have a new meditation up for Sunday, but worst case scenario, it will be up Monday or Tuesday. But yeah, you guys have a great rest of your day. Have any questions, let me know. Definitely check out my book on self-doubt. If you're looking for a self-doubt workbook, check that out on Amazon. The link is in the bio. And I will talk to you all soon. Y'all have a good night.